So we've talked quite a bit about why they're doing the Jeffrey Epstein war. And, to me, the biggest answers are very simple. One of them is Trump has always been a warmonger. He views himself as like a legendary president. He wants to go down in the history books. In order to do that, you need to think big and do big things, right? He approved the Venezuela raid. He kidnapped the leader. He's stealing the money from Venezuela and putting it in a bank account. But he's always been a warmonger. His first term, he was a warmonger. Now he's like ratcheted up how much he's warmongering. I mean, he's threatening to steal Greenland, right? He's threatening to steal Greenland. Like, he's not right. I think he's actually territorially trying to expand the U.S., and he thinks that's how, I get into the history books. But outside of him just being a warmonger, of course, there's also, if there's one thing that's consistent that he says, it's he doesn't want a forever war. He doesn't want to, we wasted $8 trillion in the Middle East. The Iraq war was a beauty. It was a big fat mistake. He does war, but usually he likes to do, relatively quick. Hey, bunch of drone strikes, kill a bunch of civilians, get out that bitch, right? Kidnap Maduro and steal the money, but get out that bitch, right? So he's a warmonger, but the one thing he always says is I don't want a long-term prolonged thing that costs a shitload of money, that gets us bogged down, but that seems to be exactly what he's doing here. So that begs the question, well, why? Why would he agree to this if this was the one kind of war that he's actually skittish about? Well, the answer is very simple. He's blackmailed. He's blackmailed. So you have Jeffrey Epstein was connected to intelligence all around the world. He was connected to Russian intelligence, the CIA, Saudi intelligence, but probably most connected to Israeli intelligence, to Mossad. And so he was running a honeypot blackmail operation where he had dirt on all these rich, famous, powerful people and politicians all around the world, right? And so we know, as a matter of fact, Epstein has pictures and videos of Trump doing horrific things with underage girls, and that means that stuff is in a vault in Tel Aviv. So Netanyahu is almost certainly holding this over Trump's head and saying, if you don't do the regime change, this gets released. I have no doubt about it. Dropsite News has reported they already know that Netanyahu did the exact same thing trying to blackmail Bill Clinton over Monica Lewinsky. Okay? So they have a track record of this. So that's one of the things that is leading to this war. I also think Israel is doing this to try to make Iran a failed state, create a greater Israel. Right? Trump here, like we just described, is trying to expand the U.S., create the tech native America on behalf of the AI tech billionaires and to get his name in the history books, right? This is all for the Epstein class. This is all for the billionaires, okay? And, but there's one other thing that is selling this war, right? There's one other angle to it, which I don't think Trump directly believes in, but there's a lot of people around him who believe in it. Like, for example, Mike Huckabee. Like, for example, Pete Kegsbreth, the Secretary of War Crimes. Like, for example, some of the psychotic, illegal, ultra-Orthodox Israeli settlers, right? There's a religious angle to this as well, but I did not realize until today, after seeing this article, just how bad this is, okay? Clash Report says, U.S. commanders across more than 30 military bases told troops the Iran war is part of God's plan and linked to Armageddon. A commander said Trump was, quote, anointed by Jesus to light the signal fire in Iran to cause Armageddon. The Military Religious Freedom Foundation, the MRFF, says it has received over 110 similar complaints, describe the war as biblically sanctioned and a sign of the Christian end times. And this goes hand in hand with MAGA Mike Johnson, Moses Mike Johnson, right? He also thinks this is like God's plan unfolding right in front of us. We talked about how a bunch of evangelical fundamentalist Christian Zionists and a bunch of psychotic ultra-Orthodox Jews got together and did that sacrificing of the red heifer. Remember that? The red heifer prophecy to usher in the rapture and end times, and they sacrificed the red heifer in Israel, trying to usher it in. By the way, part of this prophecy is you need Israel to have the entire Middle East before Jesus can come back on a winged horse and start bringing people to heaven and killing the Jews. Okay, this is what Mike Huckabee is waiting to happen. So guys, now you have, at 30 military bases, you have commanders going, Donald Trump was picked by God, and he's ushering in the end times and Armageddon, and this is the holy war that leads to that. Yes, yes. And they're telling their underlings like it's some normal ass shit. Oh my word. What? You don't understand the psychopaths who actually run the world, do you? You don't actually get it. They talk about the Taliban being so crazy and the religious extremists, etc. What they don't tell you is, there's a fucking Christian Taliban. There's a Jewish Taliban. These are also religious psychopaths, bro. And we have all the fucking money and all the fucking weapons, and so they can actually carry out their psychotic, delusional, fundamentalist fantasies. And we're looking at it. All right, Jonathan Larson says this: U.S. troops were told Iran war is for Armageddon and the return of Jesus. A combat unit commander told non-commissioned officers at a briefing Monday that the Iran war is part of God's plan and that President Donald Trump was anointed by Jesus to light the signal fire in Iran to cause Armageddon and mark his return to Earth, according to a complaint by a non-commissioned officer. From Saturday morning through Monday night, more than 110 similar complaints about commanders in every branch of the military have been logged by the Military Religious Freedom Foundation. The complaints came from more than 40 different units spread across at least 30 military installations, the MRFF told me Monday night. The MRFF is keeping the complaints anonymous to prevent retribution by the Defense Department. The Pentagon did not immediately respond to my request for comment. One complainant identified themselves as a non-commissioned officer and NCO in a unit currently outside the Iran combat zone, but in ready support status, deployable at any time. The NCO said they were Christian and emailed the MRFF on behalf of 15 troops, including at least 11 Christians, 1 Muslim, and 1 Jew. The NCO wrote to the MRFF that their commander urged us to tell our troops that this was all part of God's divine plan, and he specifically referenced numerous citations out of the book of Revelation referring to Armageddon and the imminent return of Jesus Christ. So, ladies and gentlemen, the people that we're talking about here, they're not agnostics, they're not atheists, they're not secularists and humanists like me and a lot of you who watch this show. These are Christians, and they're going like, holy shit, these guys are psychopaths. Wait, they think the Bible's like literally true. They think the rapture is actually going to happen. They think they're going to usher in end times and all this death and violence and destruction and gore is good because we'll all be in heaven soon. This is what they think. Oh my God, bro. They say Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has enshrined evangelical Christianity at the uppermost levels of the U.S. military, airing monthly prayer meetings throughout the Pentagon. Jesus Christ. How's that not violate separation of church and state? Last year, the Pentagon confirmed to me that Hegseth attends a weekly White House Bible study. It's led by a preacher who says God commands America to support Israel. Monday's email from the NCO said that their commander's remarks destroy morale and unit cohesion and are in violation of the oaths we swore to support the Constitution. MRFF President and founder Mikey Weinstein, a veteran of the Air Force and the Reagan White House, told me that since the U.S. and Israel attacked Iran early Saturday morning, the MRFF have been inundated with similar complaints. These calls have one damn thing in freaking common. Our MRFF clients, service members who seek MRFF aid, report the unrestricted euphoria of their commanders and command chains as to how this new biblically sanctioned war is clearly the undeniable sign of the expeditious approach of the fundamentalist Christian end times as vividly described in the New Testament book of Revelation. This is as they're murdering 180 girls in an elementary school in Iran where 7 to 12-year-old girls got killed, as they're carpet bombing innocent people in Tehran, bombing hospitals. This is the reaction. Many of their commanders are especially delighted with how graphic this battle will be, zeroing in on how bloody all of this must become in order to fulfill and be in 100% accordance with fundamentalist Christian end-of-the-world eschatology. Guys, this is red alert. This is emergency. This is 5-alarm fire. Like breaking. Spread this shit far and wide. We are being run by a bunch of absolute psychopaths. And I think what people struggle to deal with, most people don't think like this. They live in the real world to one extent or another. And then when you're confronted with the fact that, no, there are people who actually think like this, and by the way, they run the motherfucking world, and they're bringing us to war, that's got to be a wake-up call, dog. That has got to be a wake-up call. These people are unfit. They should be in straitjackets. They should be taking Thorazine. They should be nowhere near positions of power. They definitely shouldn't have fucking guns. And if your reaction to little girls being murdered from the sky with machines of death is euphoria, oh no, hell no. Your ass needs to be locked the fuck up. You got to be locked the fuck up, ski. What are we talking about? Oh my God. But ready for this? I had forgotten about this. But now, let's talk about it here. Pete Kegsbreath, the Secretary of War Crimes. He was referenced there because he also is an absolute fundamentalist. Well, listen to this. Pete Hegseth wrote a book literally called American Crusade, which is exactly what we're doing right now. The axis of Epstein, us and Israel, are doing that right now. Calling for a modern-day holy war against Muslims. Wrote that Islam is not a religion of peace, and it never has been. Was reported to have repeatedly chanted, "Kill all Muslims," while drunk at a veterans event in 2015. He has a tattoo of the Jerusalem cross on his chest. A symbol of the Crusades when European armies invaded the Middle East to conquer Jerusalem from Muslims. Has Deus Vult tattooed on his arm. God wills it. The battle cry of the First Crusade in 1095. Just got a new tattoo reading Kafir in Arabic, a deliberate provocation against 2 billion Muslims from the man commanding the most powerful military on earth. Are you awake yet? Are you awake yet? Do you see what's going on here? Said in Jerusalem in 2018, there's no reason why the miracle of reestablishing the temple on the Temple Mount isn't possible. This is, again, part of the end times prophecy. A direct call for the destruction of the Al-Aqsa Mosque. His spiritual mentor, Doug Wilson, believes non-Christians should not hold positions of leadership. Has said the 19th Amendment, giving the women the right to vote, was a bad idea, and believes homosexuals should be exiled or executed. Was banned from Biden's inauguration because he was flagged as an extremist by his own National Guard unit. Because of his tattoos, this man is not fighting extremism. He is the extremism. His entire worldview is a religious war against Islam. He says it. He writes it. He tattoos it on his body. And now he's commanding the largest military operation in the Middle East since Iraq. And by the way, he got into politics being a pro-war activist, pro-Iraq war activist. And as this guy points out, yet he talks about Islamic prophecy illusions. What about you? What about your fucking illusions and delusions? He got into politics being a pro-war activist, and now here we are, and he's bringing us into our next colossal war. And this one is going to go even worse than Iraq, y'all. And we're being led by total psychopaths. All right. In a sermon promoting Operation Epstein Fury, the well-known Christian Zionist televangelist, a guy by the name of John Hagee, Pastor John Hagee, listen to the shit that he's casually saying here. Again, this is how you know how deranged these people are and how they've totally lost touch with reality. This is the guy, by the way, who talks about, like, the 4 blood moons are going to signal the end of the world. And this was back in, like, you know, I forget the exact year, 2013 or 14 or something like that. He was acting like, that'll be the end of the world. Those years came and went. Never mentioned it again. Didn't say, hey, I was wrong. Hey, my bad. Hey, I misread that one. Hey, turns out my prophecy was off. Hey, my direct line with Jesus was fucked up that day. Nothing. Fucked it up. Never address it again. People still kept coming. Ready for this? Listen to what he says here.
Russia must find that oil to be a global force. Israel has that oil, and Russia is already moving into the Middle East. What Israel doesn't have, Donald Trump will control. Secondly, Israel has what Russia must have to be a global force, a warm water port for their navy. Right now, Russia's navy is limited by the icy conditions that surround them. Makes their ships unusable. Ezekiel states that God, quote, in the fury of his wrath, will send a great earthquake in the land of Israel so that the fish of the sea and the birds of the heaven and the beasts of the field and all creeping things that creep on the earth shall shake at the presence of God. Mountains will fall and every wall shall fall to the ground. Step 1. This earthquake is going to swallow one third of the advancing army consisting of Russia, Turkey, and what's left of Iran, and groups of Islamics that want to join this marching army in the future coming to Israel.
He's saying this like this is actually going to happen. They're all going to be marching towards Israel. There's going to be an earthquake. The world's going to swallow them up. What the fuck are you babbling about, son? Bro, these people are gonzo. They are mentally gonzo. Again, I'm trying to impress upon you that this is an actual ideology that's helping to drive policy in this country. Christian Nightmare says, during a sermon yesterday, megachurch pastor Greg Laurie said, we know that modern Iran plays a role in the end time scenario. As far as I can see, the next event in the prophetic calendar will be the rapture of the church. So he's saying it's happening. End times is here.
We know that Persia, modern Iran, plays a role in the end time scenario because the Bible does say a large force to the north of Israel will march on her, known as Magog, and one of her allies will be Persia. Where does this fit in? I don't know. We'll see. It'll all play out in God's perfect timing. But I can say this. When we see this kind of activity in that part of the world, it reminds me of the words of Jesus who said, when you see these things begin to happen, look up because your redemption is drawing near.
What the fuck, bro?
As far as I can see, the next event on the prophetic calendar will be the rapture of the church.
Understand, he's saying Jesus is going to come back on a winged horse, kill most of the Jews, convert some others. We're all going to go up to heaven. We're all going to party and have a great time forever. But in order to get there, we need this massive, colossal, global war where it's death and destruction and gore and violence for everybody, women and children being killed, going through hell on earth. And they actively want that to happen. They're bringing it about right now.
That, of course, is a controversial topic to some. It's not controversial to me. I don't think it's controversial to us. But when that event happens, all of the prophetic things that are going to take place are like dominoes closely stacked to each other. And once the first domino falls, the others will fall. The emergence of the Antichrist, the tribulation period.
You want to talk about the emergence of the Antichrist? I got a couple motherfucking Antichrists for you. Their names are Benjamin Netanyahu and Donald J. Trump. You want to talk about the Antichrist? Let's talk about the motherfucking Antichrist.
Armageddon, the second coming, the millennial reign of Christ, heaven and earth become one, and somewhere in that prophetic scenario is the invasion of Magog with her ally Persia. So it's all going to be happening in God's timing. But the one event that can happen at any moment is when the Lord comes for his church.
I mean, he's talking about Gog and Magog. This is what Bush said about, I need to do the war in Iraq because the Gog and Magog are going to arrive and usher in the end times. Like, I genuinely don't even understand how these people tie their shoes in the morning, how they can like live and function. Like, you are so motherfucking brainwashed. It seems like impossible to even get through to you. Now, as all this is going on and we're witnessing basically the rapture war, the end time, the Jeffrey Epstein war, but also the war for the rapture and the end times and Armageddon that the Christians are actively trying to bring upon us. Here's Mike Johnson in a press conference, and listen to what he says about Muslims.
They have been, and they say the quiet parts out loud. They wanted to wipe Israel off the face of the earth, and they'd like to take us out as well. We're the great Satan in their analogy and their misguided religion, and there was no way to appease them.
Their misguided religion. Misguided religion. And what? Everything I've described in this segment, everything that's going on here is fucking perfectly rational, logical, based on fact, based on evidence. Like, bro, we are... I don't know how many times I could say it. You got to impeach Trump. You got to remove him. Hit him with the 25th Amendment. He's got to get the fuck out of there. We got to arrest these people. We got to arrest Benjamin Netanyahu. We can't allow this to go on. Guys, understand. They are, with a smile on their face, they are gleefully carpet bombing children's elementary schools. And like, then the next day they go out there and Pete Kegsbreath gives a press conference and says, we're hitting them back real hard and we're showing them who's boss. Like, this is Nazi Fourth Reich shit. Except it might even be even more dangerous because now it's also tied to fucking, fantasy, biblical prophecy that's totally made up. So these people, it's like closer to ISIS shit. This is like ISIS shit. Like, God's plan is unfolding and like we need the death, we need the violence, we need the destruction, we need the end of the world because that's the way that we get to ultimate paradise. Lock them up, lock them all up. And by the way, I am now full back on my atheist flow, dog. I am full on like religion is a motherfucking poison. It's a cancer. It's toxic as fuck, and it leads to lunatics like this trying to steer the global ship, and they're gonna, go right over the edge. Right, we're going right over the edge. We're going down the waterfall. We're gonna be broken into a million little pieces if we follow these psychopaths. It's time. We gotta evolve. We gotta upgrade ourselves. We gotta update. We cannot be with this primitive fucking Bronze Age bullshit mindset. We need to be people of the Enlightenment and science and secularism and rationality. This is like totally unacceptable, and all of us are in fucking danger.
Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.